To be or not to be, local fishing or commercial fishing? That is the question. To be objective is difficult, and to choose sides we know is even more difficult, because both have merits. Cape Town fishing activity presents two faces: the local fishing and the commercial fishing. A group of students did their research in two fishing places in one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Some people say she is the mother city of South Africa. They started with Mr. Jimmy at Cork Bay Harbour, explaining local fishing.
Mr. Jimmy, can you please tell us how the fishing activity is going on here in Cork Bay?
Okay, the guys fish here mainly on handline, and it's a very sustainable way of fishing for the commercials that fish out here.
Yeah.
For them that's important, because obviously they need to get back in time to get the fish to market. Things like that. Basically what happens is the guys that have a commercial license, they'll go out exact same way we do, same boats, that type of thing. The difference is that they're allowed to have different catch limits, so they're allowed to catch more fish, obviously, because it's their living. They're normally on the water as early as possible, so that they're fishing first light, which is what we're going to be doing today as well. And then what will happen is they will get as many fish as they can in the shortest period of time as possible. And all of this is quite heavily regulated, so you've got to have a commercial license to fish commercially. They're getting harder and harder to get nowadays, because obviously they're getting stricter on the rules and things like that. It also depends on your license. So some will have a license to catch lionfish, which is snook. Others have a commercial license to go catch tuna. If you've got a tuna license, you can't catch snook. And then you'll see some of these boats, like that boat over there, they've got crayfish nets on. So they'll go out and get crayfish. Yeah, that's crayfish nets. Also, they're monitored and regulated as well. Definitely, it has changed over the years. Certainly, your what they call the bankfish or your groundfish, red Roman, things like that, they're definitely not as prolific as they used to be. So I think it's overfishing. The problem with a reef fish or groundfish, the problem with them is that they are territorial. So if you go to a reef and you catch all the fish on that reef, it takes a lot of time for them to,
So their journey starts. They gathered with a local fishing crew on Cork Bay Harbour one morning early, and it was very cold. Their mission? They want to see how local fishermen fish. The film crew went on the second boat to witness the activity.
How you guys are come on board first and fishing and coming back, so I think you need to be a proper fishing crew.
Now, look, it's, for us it's more recreation.
We don't fish.
It's our culture.
We're doing it for fun, if you want to.
How many cases do you guys make a day?
In a peaceful surrounding, the local fishers catch their fish in a relaxed mood. They love and understand the sea. Then they returned home with just enough fish to survive another day.
Comment tu sais qui te demande les gars? Voici mon aiguille, non? Quand c'est posé sur rouge là, ça veut dire c'est fini.
The student film crew had to deal with a tight budget, but the local fishermen had a much bigger problem. They are up against businesses with big budgets. So what are the options? What are we going to do about this very sensitive issue? Like so many crises we have to deal with in beautiful South Africa, even our government don't have an immediate solution for the problems we are facing when it comes to our ocean and its resources. Here is the face of commercial fishing. They most probably will never have. No government anywhere in the world has an immediate fix.
We do long-line fishing, and this type of fishing is very, very, very safety of my crew and the safety of the boat. Safe navigation of the boat.
I'm the second engineer. I do the welding. Myself and the chief, we do all the maintenance on the boat.
Only you can make up your mind about where you stand. Some South Africans believe the solution is to become vegetarian or vegan. Others side themselves with the local fishermen, and some couldn't care and will be part of those and the system plundering the oceans and feel nothing. In the Cape Peninsula and surroundings, you have families that have been in the fishing business for centuries. They know and love the sea, but their way of fishing is not enough to meet the demand of the population of South Africa. On their way to visit the commercial fishing factory, they encountered some desperate locals.
Up to 100 illegal vessels in the water that is foreign, like the Papa is saying. Even this, like now this morning, we got the message that there's snook. We are traditional handline fishermen. There's a message that the guys are catching snook up in Port Holland.
Yes. How will we get there? Problem, how will we get there?
You can't, brother. You can't even go with a boat that has got these 200 motors. You have to go with a boat that you have to row yourself. We don't have that luxuries, brother. It's not even a luxury to say it. For some people it looks like a luxury, but that's a survival. We are the motors ourselves. But to get there, yo, it's a story.
And that is my harmony documentary that I'm in and explain to the people. But the people just close their cameras and go. There's my wife, hard working. Look, they're hard working. The wife must work today because there's no work for the guys.
I'm a woman all these years, for more than 40 years.
40 years.
And I've got nothing.
Nothing at all.
Even most of these big sardine boats and poultry vessels, you don't
I
see.
hope we survive now with the interim.
On those vessels, you're gonna come find a lot of other people. Hoe zijn ze naam nog weer? Oceana of not? All around the coast.
But it's a outpay company, but they got all the foreign people working on
No
the boat.
outplayers on it. Even permit.
That is my candid documentary, man, without the penny.
Traditional handline fishermen, like these are my teachers. These papas are my teachers. When they can't go to sea anymore because of their knees or their back, what are they going to survive on? They don't have a single permit, brother. Not for hook, not for hake, not for water, not for crayfish, not for nothing. They don't.
Our local fishermen are suffering and are not making ends meet, but commercial fishing feed the world from the sea. Jamie is one of the managers in this enormous factory. This is where she works. Commercial fishing is plundering the seas and its resources, but they feed the demand. Have we reached a point where we have to throw our hands up in the air and hope for an answer? Close our eyes to the cruelty of what is being done to the sea and its creatures? Or are we as humans going to realize that we have become the plague of the earth?
Yes, but it's small ones. Small ones. Yes, it's 0. We pack it in 5 cages. And then we let it.
Will we realize we have to stop the population of the world being out of control and that we are damaging everything that we have received as gifts being humans? You decide where you stand, and if you feel comfortable seeing our local fishermen not making ends meet, and you are comfortable with the commercial fishing plundering our oceans and feeding us as humans, maybe it's time to reconsider and take a step back and ask yourself, how did we get to this? We as humans have become too greedy, too destructive, and too desperate to survive, and the irony at the end of the day is that we are all going to lose one way or another. The ocean, us as humans, and the companies feeding the world from the sea.